What's going on, everyone? I've set myself the goal to get my project car finished in the next 24 hours, so I'm going to be showing you the final steps as I get my 335i Wagon completed, and without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got to do today. So in front of me here, I have everything that we need to install to get my car started. We have everything from an instrument cluster from the 335, some differential fluid, oil change, some hood shocks. I think we're going to start with these because I've been waiting to get these installed for so long. We have a center support bearing, and then we have some really cool mods. I have the Stop Tech brake lines right here. These are going to be an awesome upgrade for the 335 to help improve that brake pedal feel. And then we also have a K&N air filter, which is going to go in the stock air box. So we have the ultimate sleeper intake setup for this car. So I do have to tighten up some other bolts today, but you guys are going to go ahead and help me, and we're going to get this car started. It's going to sound a little bit mean because I don't think that we have anything to install as far as exhaust yet, but we're going to get this done, guys. So let's go ahead and get right to work on the car. Now, I'm not joking when I say that I want to get this car started in the next 24 hours. So let's say that it's 3:30 and we are starting right now to get this car started. And let's see if we can get it done by tomorrow at this exact time. So like I said, we're going to start off by replacing the hood struts. These things are really easy. All you need is a flathead to get in there and pop off the metal clip on the back side, and then it basically releases the hood strut so you can pop it off and then replace your new one. We're going to do both sides with brand new ones, and that way the hood is going to stay up and it's not going to fall on our head when we're working on the car. Now, I also wanted to replace the oil filter cap on this motor because I knew that this one was broken. The inside part of the cap tends to break, and then the filter might not seal correctly, and you can get low oil pressure issues with this problem. So replace it before you get there, and here we're installing the brand new one with a brand new filter since we're going to be doing an oil change today. So let's knock that off the list, and then we'll move on to the next item, which is going to be replacing the air filter. I decided to go with a K&N upgraded air filter because it fits in the factory air box. These things flow plenty for the factory size turbos, and we can still tune the car and make plenty of power with this air box. So just replacing it for now, but we're not going to be installing it on the motor just yet. We're going to move on to doing the drive shaft center support bearing. So I already have a full video if you guys want to check out how to replace this on the 335, but today we're doing the condensed version. We've removed the drive shaft, and then we're going to go ahead and mark it in a few places so that when we put it back together, it's 100% balanced together. And then we're going to go ahead and start removing the center support bearing, which is kind of a destructive process. I like to use an angle grinder and basically cut the bearing off. And you can leave a little bit of a score on the drive shaft when you do this process, but in my experience, it doesn't affect fitting the new bearing or how the new bearing works. So you'll see me do that here. And if you guys have any recommendations as to how to do this better when these bearings are really seized on, let me know, because I'm always open to trying new things. Now, getting the new bearing on isn't any more easy than getting the old one was off, because you saw that was a really tight fit. So what I like to do is line up the bearing as good as possible. Sometimes sand down the drive shaft just a little bit to make it easier, and use a little bit of grease. But you're going to want to tap this bearing very lightly onto the shaft of the drive shaft, and then that way you'll have it basically fully installed. Make sure you get the orientation correct, and then when you install both halves of the drive shaft, make sure you got those lined up as well, and then you're good to reinstall it back into your car. Now, definitely one of my favorite mods to do on any car, whether it's a daily driver or a full-blown track build, is to upgrade from the standard rubber brake lines to ones that are made out of stainless steel. So we had a great kit today from Stop Tech to install. These things are real affordable. They're about 130, 140 bucks for the front and rear together, and it even includes the mid lines that go from the frame of the car to the subframe, which is what I'm installing right here. And then you've got the rear brake lines, which are a great upgrade. And then finally the front ones too, and this is going to make your pedal feel a lot stiffer, and the brakes are going to be more precise and more touchy. So I prefer that feel. If you enjoy something that's a little more comfortable and mushy for the street, then maybe you want to stick with the rubber lines, but the stop kick ones, again, they're a great upgrade. So check these out when you get a chance. They probably make them for your car too. Last thing up on the list is going to be doing that oil change like I mentioned before. Now a lot of people ask me why I choose the specific oil that I am using today from Liqui Moly, and you know what, at the end of the day I don't really have a good excuse for this stuff. I just love that fact that it's green and it's a little bit cheaper than the regular Liqui Moly oil. So that's what we're using today for our fill up, and hopefully this will give us some good luck the first time that we start this engine. So now with those mods done, like the K&N air filter and the nice Stop Tech stainless braided brake lines, we're gonna get ready to start the motor. Now you will find that I don't have a charge pipe installed and I don't have the intercooler, and that's because in the next video we're gonna be installing some of the coolest mods on this engine right here to make it the sleeper wagon that it deserves to be. I'm not gonna tell you guys what we have to install, but I will give you a little hint right here. And now with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the other things that we need to do to get this car started. So we have the instrument cluster right here. This is the 335 cluster, and you'll know because it has the oil temp gauge, whereas the 325 cluster has a miles per gallon gauge. And then we also have the car access module. This is the CAS. It's from the 335, and we'll have to use the 335 key to get this car started. So with changing out both of these modules, I think we should be good to give the car a test start. And we're coming up real close on time actually, because it is 1:15. So we got about 2 hours, I'd say, to get this thing started. I think that gives us plenty of time to get these things installed. Let's go ahead and get back to work. Now, if you remember correctly, the 325i cluster on this car had duct tape over the main screen that was blocking out all the error messages, and all the bulbs, it looked like, for the check engine light were all smashed out. So we're going to pull this out using the 2 Torx screws up top, and then we're going to go ahead and replace it. You can see here the difference between the 335 and the 325i cluster. The 335i cluster also has a higher RPM limit for the tachometer. And now we're just going to go ahead and throw this thing inside the car, and then we should be good to go. The other module that we have to change out is the car access system module, the CAS, and that's right here underneath the floorboard panel for the driver. And we're gonna go ahead and put a 10mm wrench up there, remove the 1 bolt, and then we should be able to change out the module. You'll find that the new module is a CAS 3 module, and the one coming out of this car is a CAS 2. So these things are a little bit different. The CAS 3 module has more software options and different programming coding options that you can do. So I'm not sure if it's going to give us a big difference, but it should be a good upgrade as far as reliability as well. Alright, so we've got the instrument cluster installed and the new CAS module. All we need to do is grab the 335i key and connect the battery, and for the first time we can start up the car and at least see if it has any faults or anything, and then we'll open the garage and see if it runs. Well, it kind of made some funny noise there for a second. Not sure what it was, but as you can see, we've got lights back on inside the car. All we need to do is grab that 335 key, and now let's see if it wants to start. Well, turn on, I mean. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Moment of truth. We got light. I mean, it says it's the correct key. Well, we got a warning. Oh boy. I think that buzzing noise, I think that's the fuel pump priming. Buzzing noise. Alright, well, let's see. Uh-oh. Well, there's something wrong. The key doesn't want to disable the lock. The steering lock is still on. And there is a exclamation point. Let's go grab the scanner and see what's going on. Now, while my computer starts up, I'm going to go ahead and plug in this Prindle, screen display right here. There are 2 plugs on the back, and so it might have something to do with why the steering wheel is not unlocking. I'm just going to try that real quick. All right, let's put this key in. Nope, steering wheel's still locked. Still has a, whatever that message is right there. I can't seem to cycle through using the stock here, so let's go to scan. So we're gonna be using Ista today. It's just the easiest for me to show you guys what's going on. It pulls up a scan of all the modules and in perfect English gives us, BMW's translation as to what the fault is and what's going on. If you look at the VIN here, it's pulling up the 335i VIN and the 335i specs. A few faults. All the modules that light up are ones that wake up. And if it's green, no faults. If it's yellow, it has faults. If it's red, it's not communicating. So hopefully everything's communicating, but we definitely have some faults. We're gonna display the fault memory, cross our fingers, and all right, we got DME, catalytic converter, boost pressure, timeline. So terminal faults, interface, EWS, and DME, that's not good. Transfer case voltage, supply motor, DSC sensor.
Eventually.
So Ista wasn't giving me the option to align the DME to the cast, which I'm pretty sure is the next step to get this car started or at least powered on correctly. Now, looking at the diagrams that they were showing me, it looks like I have a wire for the cast to the DME that's actually missing. So here on the main body connector that comes out of the 325, pin number 22, you can actually see that blank spot is missing right there, and it's supposed to be a green with white striped wire. Now, guess what I found? Over here on this blue connector, I found that green with white stripe. You can see it right there, and it goes into this blue connector, which doesn't have any output. So I'm guessing that that is the wire that we're going to have to splice into the connector for the DME here. And once we do that, hopefully the car is able to give me the option to align the DME, or maybe it'll just let us power up correctly. So let me go ahead and snip this wire off, go grab the correct size pin that's gonna fit in here, and do a little bit of soldering. All right, so we're gonna try this again with that, I think it was the terminal 15 that we hooked up there. Still an exclamation point. Oh boy, well it cranks. I didn't exactly mean to do that. Oh, you can hear the water pump turning on now. Well, I think we have some issues with the DME wake up sequence in the terminal, but I don't want to leave you guys on a dead end on this video. Let's go ahead and open up the garage and I'll give this thing a test crank and we'll see if it starts. Holy cow, that thing is loud. Whoop. Well, look at that. It looks like we can mess with the codes. Oh man. Holy cow. All right, well, I don't want to let the car run that long. let's see if we can try to navigate the menu now. It's been started for the first time. No, so it's got some issues here. Got a lot of fault codes. I think we're gonna have to figure out one at a time, but you know what? The car starts. I don't know if we needed to have tried to do that terminal wake up line and have fixed it, but I'm glad that we did, and it looks like it runs. Let's give it one more fire just for fun, and we'll see what lights are on the dashboard. Yeah, so yeah, we can expect that. ABS, interesting, and brake pad sensors, low beams, bulbs, and low beams, and seatbelt buckles, and headlights. So oh boy, guys, I cannot wait to take this car to the next level. So it's about 4:10 here, so we kind of made our 24-hour challenge happen. I know this car is not 100% done or finished at all, but we did get it started, and after so much work that we've put into it, it is nice to hear it running in the new chassis. So we have a lot more work to do still. We have some fault codes that we're gonna have to deal with, but more importantly, we're gonna be putting on some really cool mods in the next few videos. I can't wait to show you guys that. It's gonna make this car the ultimate sleeper wagon. We'll eventually get into tuning one day, and I know there's gonna be a couple more service items for us to do on this wagon, but I hope you guys are as pumped as I am to have seen it running and just believing in the process that we're gonna have this thing done pretty soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like or a comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't yet. As always, I hope everyone has an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.